It's an all-known fact that Japanese fighters are underestimated because of their physique. But there are those who prove their strength is on a completely different level. True warriors with samurai blood running through their veins who amaze the whole world with their skills.
A fearsome flurry, and he's got him with a left.
Get ready to witness the best Japanese fighters and their insane knockouts. This is Boxing Game. Here we go.
He's vicious. The monster.
A fearsome flurry, and he's got him with a left.
I think that dude really is pound number one.
Naoya Inoue is a descendant of samurais who has been performing public executions in the ring for 13 years with no losses. With dynamite power in his fists, Inoue leaves no chance for his opponents. This earned him his fearsome nickname, Monster. The future Jack the Ripper of the boxing world was born in April 1993. His father, Singo, was a former boxer, and he dreamed that his son would follow in his footsteps. Therefore, he started training his son from an early age. This soon paid off, as there were no worthy opponents left for Inoue in the sea of amateurs. Thus, he decided to enter the ocean of professional sharks, with his father as his main cornerman, signing a contract with Ohashi Boxing Gym, under the condition that he would never be given weak opponents. His debut fight took place in October 2012. At that time, Japanese Jack the Ripper had just begun his journey in the super flyweight division, and his opponent was the Filipino champion Crison Omayao, with a professional record of 16-4. It seemed that the more experienced Omayao would easily defeat the rookie, who had just stepped into the professional ring. But in the fight, Inoue immediately began proving that he was a force to be reckoned with, fully justifying his fearsome nickname, Monster. He delivered his punches as if with a sniper rifle, yet his shots didn't just land on the ears, but directly on Omayao's face. But Omayao, realizing that a fair win wasn't possible, decided to follow the Rat's covenants and throw a cheap shot after the bell. Furious at such dishonesty, Inoue, like Gordon Ramsay, began preparing rat foie gras from the coward's liver, thus announcing that the future king had begun his rise. The next victim of the Japanese Reaper was another professional boxer with more experience than Inoue, named Ngao Prajan Chuatana. Their fight began, and Chuatana, thinking that the newcomer had just been lucky in his first fight, began attacking Inoue too aggressively, thinking he would get away with it. But Inoue decided to show that this was not the case. In the end, winning turned out to be much easier than pronouncing his opponent's name. Inoue won and proved that there were tons of dynamite in his hands, and he had no intention of stopping. Next on Inoue's path to glory, another obstacle appeared in the form of the more experienced Yuki Sano, and this fight promised to be the first serious test in the career of the hero of our video. As soon as the referee allowed them to clash, Inoue immediately started trying to send Sano to the land of Morpheus, but his attempts were unsuccessful, as Sano dodged the punches like Neo. Then, Sano decided to offer a taste of his own lunch of punches, which severely shook the monster's confidence. But the character forged in Inoue by his father soon made itself known, as Inoue began to start a revolution in the ring. It was as if Inoue transformed the ring into his playground, completely destroying Sano like a sandcastle. And in the final round, the Japanese killer began pounding his fists into Sano's head. But apparently, the referee got tired of seeing the one-sided beating of the already exhausted fighter, so he stopped the fight, deciding to preserve at least a bit of Sano's health. After this fight, Inoue was to face the fight for the Japanese championship title. His opponent was Ryoichi Taguchi, who would later hold the WBA and IBF belts. The fight promised to be far from easy, but there was no turning back. As soon as the bell rang, Inoue immediately began targeting Taguchi's head with his cannons. Inoue's fists seemed to perform a surgical operation without anesthesia, as the gloves in his hands were as dangerous as a scalpel in a surgeon's hands, deadly and incredibly precise. It was unclear how Taguchi was still standing, as looking at the number of brutal punches from Inoue, one might think that Taguchi's internal organs were submitting a collective resignation letter. But it seemed that Inoue wasn't chasing a knockout in this fight, methodically dismantling Taguchi piece by piece. In the final rounds, Inoue wasn't fighting with his opponent anymore. He was playing with his victim, as Taguchi's body no longer obeyed him, and the little monster had already tasted his blood. In the end, all the judges unanimously added another victory to Inoue's record and awarded him the title of champion of the land of the rising sun. Another brave soul who dared to challenge Inoue's jaw was the professional boxer Gerson Mancio. Gerson clearly entered the fight not planning to be sent to the canvas, but Inoue didn't ask for his opinion on the matter. So as soon as their bout began, Inoue immediately started relentlessly forcing his opponent onto his hard jabs.
ないですし、バランスも崩
and giving him a taste of his lethal hooks.
くるっていうのが特徴。
その右のパンチ、さらには左のフック、ボディ。ここはアッパーを見せます。王座決定戦です。降りてきた。ショートの右を合わせます。そして右、入れ替え左。
効いた。効いた。ここでまとめる。
左。井上がさ、前に出た。井上尚弥が前に出る。ロンドンを背負わせる。連打が続く。
By the fifth round, Inoue unleashed a true storm of punches on Jerson, but to prevent further damage to Jerson's face from this extreme situation, the referee decided to stop this public execution.
マッシュを下がらせる。井上尚弥、世界に向け、このラウンド、さらにダッシュを重ねる。ここでレフェリーが試合。
After this fight, Inoue was given the opportunity to compete for world
ああい
gold.
うこう地面を滑るような足遣いをしようと思ったらやる。
In April 2014, Inoue faced a new boss, but in this game, there were no checkpoints, only an elimination game. This was just the sixth fight of the Japanese boxer's career, but the title was already on the line. In the opposite corner stood the experienced Mexican Adrian Hernandez, who was not only the WBA world champion, but had also successfully defended his title 4 times. So, all the spectators, even before the fight began, were mentally burying the newcomer.
怪物とも言われてきた。
But when the referee called fight, it became clear within the first few seconds that this was not a fight between experience and youth, but rather a public massacre by the monster Inoue.
名古屋です。チャンピオン。あ、効いた。あのワンツーボディーストレートで一気にチャンピオンを後ろ。ここまでは井上尚弥のボクシングでしょう。左フックもガードしています。この警戒士は川島さんもこれチャンピオンです。
Hernandez didn't look like a champion. He looked more like a frightened boy, while the Japanese boxer, on the other hand, had the confidence of a champion.
その大下界にも臆することなくチャンピオンを圧倒しています。このままだとちょっと井上が下がりますけど、これは川島さんどう見ればいいんでしょう。
Inoue worked relentlessly. He didn't just attack, he dismantled the champion piece by piece, like a child knocking down a house of cards with a single swipe. His punches were delivered so accurately, it was as if he had pre-scripted his opponent's movements, and the Mexican looked as though his title had been bought on sale at Walmart, rather than earned in brutal bouts.
かけられないんでしょうね、チャンピオンが。そういうことですね。
Round by round, the Japanese boxer turned the fight into a true humiliation. The spectacle resembled not a fight, but a cold-blooded dismantling. Every hit echoed through Hernandez's body, breaking not just his defense, but his fighting spirit as well.
今日がプロデビュー6戦目という井上尚弥。ボディに力を込めてきますチャンピオン。しかし、ブロックしてますね。はい。あんまりもらわない方がいいですよ。そうですか。しかし左フックだ。ちょっとした時に気が緩むところがあるという話をしていましたが、しかしここは右のフック、右のコントロール。松田さん、そのあたりになりますかね。はい。あとはショートだ。井上ショートに打ち勝っている。右のフックだ。こめかみを捉えている。右、チャンピオン下がる。左フック、チャンピオン嫌がっている。
And then Naoya entered the final act. With the brutality of a butcher, he began cracking the champion's head like a squirrel smashing a nut. Hernandez could no longer stand, and soon, Inoue simply forced the champion to bow before him on his knees. In the end, Inoue won and declared to the world that a new champion had arrived in the harsh world of boxing and was determined to become the undisputed champion. In September 2014, the ring with the newly crowned champion was shared by a fighter named Samartlek Kokietjim. As soon as the bell rang, the fighters immediately began exchanging fierce combinations, putting 100% of their power into each strike.
หน้าคอยสกัดโอ้โหขวาออกมาแล้วโอ้โหจังหวะนี้ล็อกทันนะครับสกุลนี่ไม่อยู่ก่อนให้เราจังหวะสวนต่อยแบบมั่นใจเลยทีเดียวนะครับไม่ถอยมากนะครับ
But then Inoue decided to show that in this survival game, there are levels, and he had maxed out his.
จะเกินกว่า108แล้วครับอยู่ได้ไม่นานครับ112นี่ต่อยขวาสวนครับ
The Japanese boxer crowned himself the emperor of this four-cornered stage and resumed the public execution of his opponent.
กัดด้วยหวัดแยบ ตามสูตรของมวยสมัครเล่นเลยนะครับ
Inoue threw so many combinations and knocked Samartlek down so many times that it seemed the end was
ให้
imminent.
เราเดินเข้าหาเขากะจะบวกเลย
พรยกนี้พร
ด้วย
ยกนี้พรเลือก
นี่แล้วเอาประคัดโอ้โห
เขากลัวสวนเขากลัวพลาดเหมือนกันนะครับ
อ้าวโดน
ใหญ่นะครับสู้ครับเด็กคนนี้ใจเกินร้อยครับจะโดนหน้าผมว่าพอทนไหวแต่โดนโอ้
โอ้ยนี่แหละครับโอ้ยคราวนี้เอาบ้างโอ้โหตัดลำตัวแม่จุกแล้วนะครับโอ้โห
But by some miracle, Samartlek's jaw withstood all of Inoue's countless artillery shots.
น็อกเราอย่างเดียวนะครับ
จะน็อกจะ
โอ้ยนี่แหละครับโอ้โหแต่ยังสู้นะครับสามารถเล็ก
กำนันตุ๋ยไตรรัตน์จุรินทร์นายกอบตหนองสายที่จะเป็นประธานจัดงานวันเกิดให้หลวงพ่อรวยตอนที่
But in the 10th round, Inoue seemed to activate rage mode and began to beat Samartlek with double the ferocity.
ตามครับเอาสวนยังมี
ยังมีสวนโอ้โหโดนเร็วครับ
By the 11th round, the referee finally realized that Samartlek's spirit had long been knocked out and that he wouldn't be able to respond to Inoue, so he decided to stop the fight and save the unfortunate fighter.
โต้อยู่นะ
ต้อง
ครับ
ตอบโต้ฮะ
สามารถเล่นอยู่
โอ้ยนี่โอ้ยอย่างตัวนี่แหละครับโดนย้ำเข้าไปครับ
กรรมการหยุดเลยครับ
กรรมการยุติเลยครับ
That same year, Inoue moved to the super flyweight division, voluntarily vacating his title. But this move gave the Japanese destroyer a ticket to another violent parade, another title fight where he could claim the WBO belt. In 2014, on the eve of Christmas, the spectators at the stadium witnessed a true boxing execution. The young Naoya Inoue faced the Argentine fighter, who was considered a seasoned WBO champion. It was Omar Narvaez, who had successfully defended his title 27 times and boasted an almost perfect record of 41 wins and just one loss, which had been decided by the judges. Therefore, it seemed like Narvaez would secure yet another defense of his belt in this bout. But as soon as the fight began, the Japanese hitman immediately started bombing Narvaez with high-speed missiles, which caused the veteran champion to fall more often than a drunken girl in a bar after 9 shots of tequila. In the second round, Inoue continued to deliver combos on his opponent's head, leading to a knockout and the acquisition of yet another championship title. The next opponent for the Japanese fighter was the experienced boxer Warlito Parenas. However, Parenas did not see Inoue as an equal opponent, likely due to his relatively short professional record. But the descendant of samurais was determined to prove that Parenas had made a fatal mistake. As soon as the fighters entered the ring, Parenas immediately donned a clown mask and began taunting Inoue throughout the first round. After each punch, Parenas shamelessly questioned Inoue's power in front of the audience, showing his contempt with his body language. But after enduring the mockery throughout the first round, Inoue was determined to knock the arrogance out of Parenas in the second. So, he aggressively moved forward, unleashing his deadly arsenal of punches on Parenas.
やっぱり一発ありますね。一発ある。こうやって踏み込んで打ってくるパンチに関しては。
集中力あります。一瞬カウンターの動きを見せた井上尚弥、ワンパレナス。ジャブからレンジャーです。左相打ちです。
And deciding it was time to end the show, Inoue first sent Parenas into a brutal knockdown, then mercilessly finished him.
取りました井上
Next, the monster's hunger was to be tamed by David Carmona.
早くもポイントはそこに絞られてきています。
Their duel began, and from the very first seconds, the two giants created a true Ragnarok inside the four corners of the ring.
だけでこれはカルマナはかなり具志堅さん、
はい、
以前左から
これまたスピードと
左からに
すごくいいですね。
そうですか。
はい。
Fans experienced every emotion, not pausing for a second, as Inoue and Carmona seemed to turn the ring into a movie set, with Carmona playing the victim in a thrilling, blood-spilling scene.
上にワンツー放ってきた井上。ボクサーなんてみんなそんなもんなんですよ。
This wasn't just a fight, it was a chess match between a grandmaster and a child, played out with fists.
挑戦者の権利を得て、はい。右のストレート井上。まだ気持ちが引いてできてる距離ではなくかなということなんでしょうか。
そうです。はい。
左です。ガードの隙間から左。スピードそのものもチャンピオンです。
But it's worth noting that Carmona also fought back fiercely in this brutal exchange.
そうですね。ただ焦っちゃダメですよ。
そうですか。格の違いをこのスーパーフライ級で見せつけている井上。
Blood, sweat, and pain blended in a dizzying whirl of this duel, keeping the viewers on the edge of their seats.
最後に牙を抜く。最終ラウンド、井上が仕留めにかかっている。やってきました。KO決着なるか。仕留めにかかっている井上。もう相手は反撃する力がない。
In the end, after the judge's decision, Inoue secured a confident victory, keeping his WBO belt intact. The next challenger for Inoue was Pechbang-born Kokietjim, who possessed a truly iron jaw, as any Thai fighter should. As their fight began, Inoue immediately started firing his fist barrage at all levels of Kokietjim's defense.
まずは左のジャブ、ガードを固めてワンツーを放ちました。はい。チャレンジャーここ3年間負けなし16連勝。そうですね。で、軽量級ならではのしているチャレンジャーのペチバンボールでガードを放っていきました。さあコンビネーションまとめていく。
Throughout the first half of the fight, Inoue completely demolished Kokietjim with his fierce combinations targeting both the head and the body.
いう風に前回の最終12ラウンドダウン劇を語っています。サイドですけれども、シンゴトレーナーからですね、そしてアッパーだというね、はいどうぞ。
Kokietjim attempted to control Inoue in the ring, but the Japanese boxer made it clear that trying to control him was like trying to control a hurricane with bare hands.
パンチの威力どうですか序盤ですけれども、逆に村田さんからこれペチバンボールをつけますか。ガードをして井上選手に対する対策をしっかりしていますね。なるほど。重たいボディも入れないチャンピオンの井上尚弥、コンビネーションをする。ガードは硬いですけど、そのガードの上から試合中は痛いんですよ。パンチ出すときは。
Then, Inoue began to slowly break down Kokietjim's steel jaw with his fiery punches. And when Inoue had completely knocked the consciousness out of Kokietjim's body, the crowd began watching not just the fight, but a masterpiece of knockout artistry. In the end, Inoue achieved a truly spectacular victory and once again solidified himself as the world champion. After this fight, it seemed the matchmakers were tired of seeing a zero in Inoue's loss column, and they realized that such an out-of-control fire had to be fought with fire. So, they placed another Japanese fighter, Kohei Kono, as Inoue's next opponent. Kono, a two-time world champion who had twice held the WBA title with 3 successful title defenses, was no stranger to the ring. And the matchmakers were right, as this turned out to be a very tough bout for the Japanese monster.
運命のゴングが鳴りました。
When the bell rang to start this uncompromising fight, the two lightweights immediately began exchanging blows that were as powerful as the military might of an entire army.
画面右の井上尚弥です。そして河野康平。左のボディー。この鉄のない音が聞いた。これは聞いている。これは聞いている。ポイントにするもんなんですか。
Each punch felt like it went down to the bones, and the sound of the hits was so forceful that one might think the golden era of heavyweights had returned to the ring. But at one point, Kono seemed to have drunk a secret potion as he began moving faster and hitting harder. However, the monster, true to his nickname, responded with his own hellish combinations. But then, Inoue decided to show all of his deadly grace. In the 10th round, he sent Kono into a brutal knockdown, and then it seemed the monster had coated his gloves with sleeping potion, knocking Kono out cold. In the end, Inoue won and continued his hunt for the heads of other contenders. Next, the Mexican boxer Ricardo Rodriguez stepped up to challenge Inoue. Rodriguez was on a winning streak and clearly had no intention of stopping, but Inoue was determined to show that his fist was the final stop for any jaw. As soon as the fighters were unleashed from their corners, Inoue immediately started probing with his jabs in series. By the third round, the sweet science laureate, having figured out his opponent's tactics and waiting for the perfect moment, sent Rodriguez into a sweet slumber. Another challenger fell dead to the ground from the power of Inoue's punches, but this little monster was still hungry for more loud victories and continued his victorious march forward. The next target in the sights of the Japanese monster was the highly technical Antonio Neves, with an almost perfect record of 17 wins and only one loss by split decision. He represented a serious threat, but Inoue, as always, laughed in the face of danger.
Here is the introduction to the monster.
The fight began, and the Japanese fighter immediately turned the ring into a prairie, taking on the role of the predator while Neves played the role of the fleeing prey.
So that's definitely an asset. Behind the jab on a classic 1-2. Just with one.
It's saying such glowing thing. There's the feint. Inoue wants to wait a little bit to punch him when he's waiting. Or Inoue to punch and land his own shot.
Wait a long time to learn. My father taught him well. He's fundamentally sound. And that power
also punched with Inoue.
Like that physically. Tries to deliver the body. Inoue did a great job of blocking.
Feints and Inoue to get his... Inoue has been a little bit wide.
But amateur fight, so he has had one knockdown scored against him, although he says...
Within moments, Inoue asserted his total control in the ring, forcing Neves to kneel before him.
There, and here Inoue has him ready to go to the body. Yup, there it is.
First time down as a pro. Back just a little bit. Left hand to the body. Placement rather than power. Now combinations.
10-second warning clap in front of the bell.
That's saved Nieves right there. Sometimes the game plan can go out the window. And when you're getting hit heavy, with heavy shots to the head and the body. Absolutely.
He's a pick-em type puncher until he gets his guy hurt.
This is just a brilliant round. This was a one-sided,
because what's impressive about Inoue is their imagination and really look devastating. Make some water cooler buzz the next, on Monday at work. And if he scores...
By the 6th round, Inoue was completely dominating Neves.
Not surprisingly, and winning the first 2 rounds.
Inoue is trying to pick up where he left off. Nieves was hurt in that last round.
Use kind of classic technical defense. You think that'll be
A lot about the power of Inoue, but as he mentioned, all the bands in the body right now. He'll protect the head, but the body can't move.
Right now.
The referee has to keep a close look on Nieves.
17-1-2. His first loss in the last fight was
Going to get worse as this fight progresses. Big right hand
to the body.
from Inoue right
What a vicious.
Evie's cornermen, realizing they had to save their fighter from the monster's grasp, stopped the fight.
Del Guide has a decision to make. And he has made the decision.
Inoue was declared the winner, and he continued to add to his record with loud knockouts.
Naoya Monster Inoue.
In his next fight, Inoue made his opponent, Yoan Boyo, run a marathon in the ring. The fight began, and Inoue's impenetrable defense absorbed all of Boyo's punches, while his deadly attack sent Boyo crashing to the canvas. Then the monster seemed to want a piece of his opponent's liver, so he twice turned it into a chop, making Boyo regret ever signing the contract for the fight. After that, the Japanese monster simply decided to finish his breakfast. In his next match, Inoue was given a challenge at the hard level, a boxer named Jamie McDonnell, who was the WBA world champion and who had never been knocked out in his career, who boasted 30 wins and 2 losses.
Followed it up straight away as well, and Pozo's rattled. And he's hurt.
McDonnell knew that his opponent was another monster in human form, and he prepared even during the introductions. However, the Japanese fighter was determined to show that all of McDonnell's preparations were in vain. As soon as the referee signaled the start, Inoue rushed the fight, making it seem like he was in a hurry to catch a Black Friday sale. Once the playful exchanges were over, Inoue unleashed a brutal combination, which resulted in the first knockout loss of McDonnell's career and added the WBA title to Inoue's collection. After just 6 years of his crusade across the souls of boxers, the Japanese Reaper was invited to the World Boxing Super Series, where the best of the best compete for the title of the strongest. In addition to that, the winner was awarded the Great Muhammad Ali Trophy. The quarterfinals of the Super Series took place in October 2018. Inoue's opponent in the tournament bracket was the Dominican Juan Carlos Payano, who had previously held both the WBA and WBO belts. Just his presence on the list of Super Series participants made him a dangerous opponent, as the fighters in this gathering of killers were second to none.
So here we go then.
The duel began, and Payano immediately started breaking through Inoue's defense with his heavy-hitting shots.
Payano competing in his 22nd professional bout tonight.
However, Inoue was determined to prove that even among such skilled fighters, he was untouchable. He set out to demonstrate the lethal power of his fists.
Decision against Rush. Left right combination, and Payano has stretched on the canvas. And here he is, he's face down. The referee is holding the canvas.
In the end, Inoue delivered a spectacular victory and showed that in the world of knockout artistry, he was Leonardo da Vinci.
And those who questioned whether he could carry it.
In the semifinals of the Super Series, Inoue faced the undefeated Puerto Rican prodigy Emmanuel Rodriguez, who had an intimidating record of 19-0, with 11 of those wins coming by loud knockouts.
Oh, the left hook.
This is really bad.
Oh, big punches to the head, and Balor's in a whole heap of trouble.
Combination of body shot, the second left, Rodriguez going for the finish.
But in this fight, the desire to win took a back seat, as the Japanese killer's sole purpose was to exact revenge for the disrespect shown to his father. This incident had occurred in the gym before the fight. Rodriguez's coach had arrogantly pushed Inoue's father right in front of him, showing utter disrespect. Inoue swore that he would take revenge on this cocky coach by brutally destroying his protege. The fateful day arrived, and driven by a thirst for vengeance, Inoue decided not to give in to his emotions, but to let his fists talk for him.
Inoue from Japan.
As the fight began, Rodriguez immediately started applying heavy pressure.
Doesn't need to. They're not going really heavy with.
However, the anger inside Inoue fueled his strength, and by the second round, he unleashed his sniper-like precision and sent Rodriguez crashing to the canvas.
For this fight, and he's got him too from Inoue. This is a fearsome flurry, and he's done it. He's got him with a left for the first time in his career. Rodriguez in the second.
By some miracle, Rodriguez managed to get up, but Inoue, adhering to the samurai code, decided to finish his opponent once and for all.
To go again is Rodriguez. Here comes Inoue. Oh, he's got it to the Inoue. He's waiting.
2 minutes to go, Jam.
Oh, this is unbelievable for Inoue. Third time he's gone down. Rocks to the core. Another count.
In the end, Inoue claimed victory and captured the IBF title, delivering a brutal revenge on the shameless coach by handing his protege the first loss of his career. Inoue advanced to the final of the Super Series, unaware that this fight would become pivotal for him. No one had ever made him work so hard in his victorious career. In this fight, the Japanese bounty hunter became the prey as he faced the Filipino Nonito Donaire, who was not only a brutal knockout artist, but also a master of flawless technique. Everyone in the arena knew that a real hell would unfold in the ring.
Of a sublime career. In many ways, the man opposite him represents...
As soon as the bell started this apocalyptic fight, Donaire immediately began his boxing monologue, not allowing Inoue to dictate the flow of the bout.
Knocked him off balance. As Donaire comes back with a 1-2.
Donaire, almost like Van Helsing, was the first to draw blood from the monster. Inoue's fans began to worry about his previously spotless record.
The ones that Donaire isn't able to read, but he's walking through them so far. Catches Inoue on the...
However, with blood pouring from his eye, Inoue began to show why he was called the monster. With insane fighting spirit, he relentlessly hunted Donaire's body.
Down back to give it. This is good stuff from Inoue.
Terrific combinations.
From a superb 5.5 rounds. Variations. Head, body. Cannot miss at the minute. Worrying times for Donaire. Lovely work from Inoue. It won't be long before he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's a good finish from Inoue, it really is.
But even that wasn't enough for Nonito, and it seemed like the Filipino was on the verge of burying Inoue's perfect record.
Expect Donaire to let some big shots of his own go.
11 rounds, but is this the end? Check left hook now. He's hurting him.
Amazing, and hats off to both guys.
Yet Inoue seemed to activate berserker mode, fighting like never before.
Given the legendary status of the boxing, they will want him to finish on his feet.
At the finish line, both fighters were neck and neck for victory. But in the 11th round, Inoue delivered a sniper-like liver shot that shook his opponent, earning the judges' recognition of him as the stronger fighter.
Very often.
The home crowd now really get behind him. That's a lovely left to the body. Lovely shot. I don't know what the ref's doing. He's counting now. That was a lovely left.
Winning by unanimous decision and barely managing to preserve his undefeated record, Inoue triumphed in the World Boxing Super Series and claimed the Muhammad Ali Trophy, solidifying his status as a kaiju in the boxing world. His strikes are faster than wind, and his knockouts louder than thunder. He has conquered kickboxing, MMA, professional boxing with his incredible prowess. Tenshin Nasukawa is a genuine samurai of the new generation, who doesn't just brawls but transforms every fight into a true art. This Japanese prodigy has literally changed the game, and at such a young age, he's already become a true legend of martial arts, with 0 losses throughout his entire career.
Pose with just 90 seconds.
Nasukawa was born in 1998 in the land of the rising sun. Starting karate at the age of 5, Tenshin soon transitioned to kickboxing, making his professional debut at just 15 years old. The honor of facing the future legend was bestowed upon his fellow countryman, Tomo Arimatsu. Arimatsu was significantly older and had much more experience, but that didn't intimidate our debutante in the slightest. Spending a few seconds to adjust his aim, Tenshin greeted his opponent with a powerful left, spectacularly knocking him down. Arimatsu miraculously managed to get back on his feet, but the dazed look in his eyes clearly showed that he was already suffering from brain fog. In turn, Tenshin sensed blood and, like a predator, began to tear into his prey. After a relentless attack, Nasukawa unleashed a high kick that nearly beheaded his opponent, sending his lifeless body crashing to the canvas. Thus, the young Tenshin Nasukawa proclaimed that a new star had lit up the fighting world's sky. Making a bold statement, Tenshin Nasukawa went on to dominate his opponents with a lethal combination of kicks, knees, and hooks. Seasoning it all with a rolling thunder and cartwheel kicks, he staged a true spectacle, captivating the audience with every move. Along the way, getting the chance to fight for the Rise Gold, he literally outclassed Yuta Murakoshi, making his fellow countrymen's legs perform the Tokyo Drift over and over again. And as he claimed his first belt, the young fighter couldn't hold back his emotions. But gold alone wasn't enough for him, and it wasn't long before he ruthlessly entered the Blade Organization's one-day tournament, starting his hunt like a bloodthirsty vampire. In the quarterfinal, he effortlessly dismantled the future Rise champion, Masahiro Suzuki, finishing the fight in just 91 seconds. Breaking into the semi-final, Tenshin wasted no time in dazzling the audience with the choreography of his kicks, only bringing his fists into play afterward. Eventually, he finished his opponent with a signature left on the backswing. Boom. Roasted. In the final, he faced the shootboxing champion, Taiki Naito. Two of the strongest fighters met in the ring, but only one would claim the gold. And then the bell sounded. Naito charged forward aggressively, throwing kicks, but Nasukawa immediately made it clear he wasn't here to play games and swiftly sent his opponent to the canvas, almost beheading him. At one point, it seemed like Naito wanted to crawl out of the ring, but he had no intention of giving up so easily. Getting back on his feet, he initiated a brutal exchange, managing to land some significant damage on Tenshin. But he shouldn't have messed with Nasukawa's hairstyle, as just moments later, Tenshin made him kneel as if before his emperor. Realizing it was time to finish his wounded prey, Nasukawa charged at his opponent and literally knocked the remaining consciousness out of him. That evening, Tenshin received not only a new belt, but also a $25,000 bonus. After the fight, he was able to calmly head home and watch a new series of his favorite anime. Continuing his ascent to the kickboxing pinnacle, Nasukawa built an impressive record of 16-0, becoming a true boogeyman for any opponent. But stepping up to the next level, he was set to face a truly dangerous opponent, the Thai champion Wanchalong, who was a protege of the legendary Saenchai. The high-profile bout promised to deliver a truly spectacular fight for the fans, but as soon as the bell sounded, the Thai fighter made a sneaky move, and in response to Nasukawa's extended hand, shamelessly kicked him. The Japanese wunderkind was stunned and decided to teach the scoundrel some manners, who had completely forgotten what honor was.
Believe it! So fast with those kicks. Wanchalong firing back, but eating blow after blow here. Combination upon combination. Tenshin Nasukawa teeing off on Wanchalong here.
Nasukawa aggressively introduced the Thai fighter to his Tenshin combinations, but the tough Thai desperately begged for more, not forgetting to fight back.
He wants, looking for a high knee there. The kick there, Wanchalong. In there, inside the looking to put it on the face. Wanchalong clocks it.
But the young Japanese fighter decided not to drag out the fight, and after feeding Wanchalong a low kick, delivered a fatal Ushirogeri, sending him to the realm of dreams in an instant.
Spinning kick there from Tenshin Nasukawa puts Wanchalong on the canvas.
While Nasukawa celebrated his victory, the Thai fighter struggled to regain consciousness. However, he was still unable to leave the arena on his own. It was a long night for Wanchalong, as he kept dominating his opponents and delivering thrilling highlights for the fans. Nasukawa earned the chance to face a true legend, Rodtang Jitmuangnon, known as the Iron Man. By that time, Rodtang was the reigning One Championship Muay Thai World Champion on a streak of 13 consecutive wins. Rodtang and Nasukawa were set to battle for the Rise World Championship title. The stakes were incredibly high because Tenshin had never faced opposition of such an elite level before. Meanwhile, Rodtang was eager to extend his winning streak and destroy the young upstart. From the very first seconds, the fight began to live up to the fans' expectations, as both fighters had a lot to prove. Nasukawa combined punches and kicks in his usual style, gradually seizing the advantage. But the metal-headed Thai didn't seem to care. He moved forward recklessly, absorbing punches and greedily asking for more. It appeared that Rodtang was truly consumed by the fight, and the only thing he desired was limitless violence. The Thai's relentless pressure paid off, and he seized the initiative back in the second half of the fight. Nasukawa was struggling to keep up with the pressure, but the young Japanese wasn't about to give up just like that, and shook the air with a rolling thunder. The final bell rang, and the audience fell silent in anticipation. Everyone was wondering who would emerge victorious in this festival of violence. But the judges decided to extend this brutal spectacle and declared a draw, meaning the fighters would have to face an extra round. Looking at Rodtang, it seemed like he could keep doing this all day, and Tenshin's sister anxiously watched her brother. The extra round began, and the fighters gave it their all. In these moments, the stakes were too high, and neither fighter could afford to lose. But only one could emerge victorious from this battle. And in this intense clash, Tenshin claimed a hard-fought but well-deserved victory. Nasukawa proved that even legends like Rodtang were no match for him, continuing his rise to the top. Between destroying opponents in kickboxing, Tenshin Nasukawa decided to try his hand at a new challenge and set out to conquer the world of MMA by competing in the prestigious Risen organization. The skilled striker turned to legendary compatriot Kazushi Sakuraba to sharpen his grappling skills. Soon after, he stepped into his first MMA fight, and his opponent was Ukrainian fighter Nikita Sapun. Having had enough of low kicks, the Ukrainian fighter initiated a change of levels, hoping to gain the upper hand. Nasukawa accepted the challenge, but got carried away, and Sapun nearly ripped his arm off. But after escaping the tough position, Tenshin decided not to make the same mistake again. He didn't let the Ukrainian get up and unleashed a brutal ground and pound on him. The Ukrainian should have been grateful to the referee for stopping the fight in time. After securing a victory in the first round, Tenshin requested his next fight and was back in the ring just 2 days later. His opponent was the kickboxer Kawika Oligo. Unable to withstand Tenshin's initial onslaught, Oligo began to wrestle. But in Tenshin's eyes, it was clear he was thinking, "Oh, so you're the wrestler now?" However, in his attempt to seize the advantage, Oligo made a fatal mistake, and Nasukawa turned the ring into a real torture chamber. Barely making it to the second round, the poor guy immediately took a brutal 1-2 and dropped like a sack of rice. Once again trying to save himself on the ground, Oligo willingly stuck his head into the beast's jaws and recklessly gave up his neck. And Tenshin recalled Sakuraba's advice, choking the poor guy out cold. Thus, Tenshin secured his second victory in MMA, while his opponent was unable to regain consciousness for a long time. A couple of months later, Nasukawa stepped into the MMA arena once again, and his opponent was the Italian Francesco Gigliotti. But after spending just over a minute with the Italian, Tenshin quickly turned him into spaghetti bolognese. Nasukawa's last MMA fight was against Yamato Fujita. Miraculously surviving the monstrous encounter with the canvas in the first round, Fujita spent the rest of the bout desperately fighting to stay alive. And Nasukawa added another victory to his record. With a record of 4-0, Tenshin immediately received an offer from the UFC, but he wasn't in a hurry to move to the best league in the world, deciding to focus 100% on kickboxing. But nevertheless, he promised to transition to MMA or professional boxing in 5 years. After all, he still had a fight ahead of him that would completely change his life. Returning to kickboxing, Tenshin Nasukawa continued to carry out a true genocide of his opponents. The level of opposition was getting increasingly dangerous, but Tenshin didn't care, as he wasn't just dominating, he was putting on a real show. And so, 20-year-old Tenshin Nasukawa faced Argentine fighter Federico Roma in the ring in Tokyo, who was eager to add the first defeat to the Japanese fighter's record. The Argentine was the WKN champion in the super flyweight division and had destroyed 8 opponents in a row before his fight with Nasukawa. The bell sounded, and the fight began.
Focus on the face of Federico Roma.
Nasukawa didn't show any Japanese hospitality and immediately sent the Argentine crashing to the canvas.
Both in orthodox, southpaw.
From the very first seconds, breaking Roma mentally, the Wunderkind set about breaking his opponent physically.
Flying knee, rocking his head. Years of age.
Nasukawa kept feeding the Argentine punches.
Like, does he want a punch or like with a low kick now? He's doesn't seem to have a clear vision.
And for dessert, he served a knockout right to the jaw. Roma tried to show he was okay, but his face betrayed him, revealing the pain and struggle he was trying to hide. The fight continued, and the Japanese fighter, having gathered enough chakra, assumed Baki's Triceratops fist pose and sent his opponent into the shadow realm.
And there is the classic Tenshin Nasukawa pose with just 90 seconds left on the clock. He knocks down the Argentinian.
After finishing the fight with an incredible knockout, Nasukawa added another victory to his record.
Who he will face in July this.
He had trouble making weight.
But Tenshin didn't gain universal recognition right away. Many haters said that all it would take to stop him was to keep a close eye on his legs. But Nasukawa decided to prove to everyone that his boxing was just as dangerous as his legs. A perfect opponent emerged on the horizon, the former boxer Kizemon Saiga, who had recently made his way into kickboxing. Their fight took place in the first round of the Raisin Grand Prix. As soon as the bell sounded, the two warriors from the land of the rising sun clashed in a fierce battle, crossing their swords like samurais. But as soon as Tenshin started fighting seriously, Saiga looked like a defenseless child. After thoroughly tormenting Saiga, the young predator finally sent his prey to rest. With a powerful left cross, Nasukawa sent his opponent to the Phantom Zone, proving to the world that his explosive power wasn't just in his legs, but also in his hands. And Tenshin once again got all the attention. With a brutal dismantling of Yuto Hamamoto in the semifinal, and already beaten by MMA rules Yamato Fujita in the final, Tenshin added one more trophy to his collection and successfully welcomed 2018. He didn't know yet that it was this year that his life would change forever, starting the year with a victory over another Sainchai's protege, Swakim, Nasukawa then faced former MMA fighter Yusaku Nakamura. Realizing the dangerous opponent in front of him, Nakamura kept trying to slow the pace and take the fight to the ground. But Tenshin instantly knocked those thoughts out of Nakamura's head, shaking the arena with a rolling thunder. Nakamura got back up, but that was a fatal mistake, as he found himself back on the canvas just moments later. Realizing there was no way back, Nakamura, like a kamikaze, charged forward, occasionally landing some blows on Tenshin. But Tenshin didn't appreciate this display of bravery and quickly made his opponent kneel. And just a few seconds later, he ended the fight with a lethal 1-2, much to the delight of his young fans. After incredible success in various organizations, the young star decided it was time for a new challenge. The whole world was shaken by the news that Tenshin Nasukawa was planning to have a boxing match, and his opponent would be none other than the legendary Floyd Mayweather Jr. Despite his age, the icon of sweet science was ready to show the young star that boxing was no game. But the wunderkind was confident in his abilities, despite being warned about the huge fine for every kick, and confidently claimed that he would knock out the legend. Then the moment when two representatives of different generations of elite fighters came face to face.
To literally knock out Floyd Mayweather, Mayweather said, "I do this in my sleep." 3 rounds.
The fight started, and the Japanese fearlessly went on the attack.
Later on, the greatest boxer of his generation. Referee asking him to keep the punches up. Nasukawa trying to use
But for Mayweather, apparently it was all just entertainment and not a fight.
Mayweather smiling, Nasukawa serious.
This behavior infuriated Nasukawa, and he began to really press the legendary Floyd.
His opponent right now. Oh, Nasukawa throwing that left. His angles. Body shot.
But no matter how good the prodigy was, Mayweather reminded him that boxing was his turf.
Unloading here. Mayweather with a
Starting to fight against the young star in full force, Floyd made a real starfall at the overcrowded Saitama Arena.
Mayweather just comes in and throws his own body shot. A beautiful right hand dropping his opponent. My goodness, the speed of Money Mayweather. Still at 41 years old.
The legend was beating the Japanese like a helpless child. Nasukawa felt like he was in a cage with a lion.
Nasukawa's doing everything he possibly can, and Mayweather drops him again.
After another crushing blow from Floyd, Nasukawa's cornerman threw in the towel to save the prodigy's future career.
And his corner has thrown in the towel. This fight hasn't even gone.
Mayweather celebrated his victory as if he had become the undisputed world champion. Feeling so helpless in front of someone for the first time, Nasukawa couldn't hold back the tears, and this defeat remained in his heart forever.
Obviously, a very emotional Nasukawa.
But back in his familiar environment, Nasukawa came to his senses and once again began destroying opponents in his trademark style. After crushing another pack of opponents and even defeating the great Kyoji Horiguchi, Nasukawa could confidently call himself the best kickboxer in the world. Meanwhile, another notorious fighter from Japan named Takeru Segawa, champion of 3 K1 divisions, was terrifying everyone. Fans of both fighters hungered for years to see the fight between the greatest fighters ever, but organizers refused them because of the Cold War between the Rizin and K1. However, at the end of 2021, the president of Rizin announced that the organization's ego couldn't stand above the desires of the spectators, so they organized the fight that would determine the greatest kickboxer in the world. The fight was held on June 19, 2022, at a neutral venue. By that point, Takeru was riding a successful streak of 35 wins in a row, and so the long-awaited fight kicked off. Throughout the first round, tension plagued Takeru with his lightning-fast attacks. And then delivered a hot cross straight to the address. The fighters showed such a fiery first round that there was no limit to the audience's delight. The fight continued, and Nasukawa unleashed his signature combination, and then he laid a Tokyo jab beat on Segawa. Takeru realized he was about to lose, so he decided to literally work with his head, sneakily headbutting tension. This despicable blow blinded Tension and caused him serious damage. Nasukawa struggled to recover for a long time, but still continued the fight. It was only after his opponent's injury that Segawa was able to fight Tension on equal terms. But apparently he didn't know that an injured lion is a very dangerous lion. Segawa miraculously managed to survive and escape the knockout, but of course he couldn't save himself from defeat. After this incredible fight, our hero announced that he was leaving kickboxing and going to conquer new heights, thanking all his fans for their support. By 2024, Tenshin Nasukawa proved to everyone that he was one of the best kickboxers on the planet. At 25 years old, the Japanese could be proud of himself, but he still had an open goal and dreamed of conquering professional boxing. The sadness of losing to Mayweather was like poison eating him from the inside, and he wanted to prove to himself and the world that he could succeed in the sweet science. But this time he started from a lower level and gradually went to the top. But Nasukawa had another goal in front of him, the WBO Asia Pacific title, and only by obtaining that, he would fulfill his dreams. Gerwin Asilo, an experienced professional boxer, was the other contender. Both fighters coveted this belt more than anything else in the world, and as soon as the bell rang, they threw their best punches at each other.
They don't really know how to work the angles very well. Not the case with Tenshin Nasukawa.
Everything behind a feint.
And the jab is starting off strong for...
Asilo left not a single blow of Nasukawa unanswered, and at times even pushed the prodigy.
You can see that he's sitting more so on his punches than Tenshin is. In case it was a left hand from Nasukawa. You could tell he's a little flat-footed.
The two fighters fought to the death because defeat meant the end of everything for both of them.
Squaring himself up again, like I said, after those combinations.
Takes his time. Good body shot. Oh, and there's a good combination right back.
Nasukawa right now is just mastering his distance.
Good right hand to the body for misses there. And he gets...
But in the end, Tenshin unleashed an unbelievable series of killer punches and then made his opponent kiss the canvas.
Asilo is claiming that it was as well.
Asilo could hardly continue the fight, but he regretted it, because the rest of the fight was like a hell of agony for him.
Nasukawa there. Answers with the left hand, and it goes
slick with his head movement. Asilo on the ropes.
Yeah, dangerous spot for Asilo to be.
Yes.
In the end, Tenshin Nasukawa won by unanimous decision and became the WBO Asia Pacific champion.
Tenshin Nasukawa.
Big.
Despite looking like a K-pop star, Rukia Anpo can rightfully be called a modern ninja. For 14 years, this warrior from the land of the rising sun has been delivering incredible knockouts to the world, earning him the nickname Demolition Man. In February 2017, Rukia Anpo delivered a performance worthy of an Oscar in his fight against Hiroshi Mizamachi, turning the ring into the stage for a spectacular slasher.
Action here.
Yeah, so we have the...
From the very first seconds, Rukia fought as if he had unleashed his Bankai.
Definitely after this deserved match. Nice right hand. Ooh, and nice front kick by Anpo.
Look at that long thing. No, you're exactly right. These guys are starting off fairly fast, and that's what's great about this.
Mizamachi tried to counter, but Anpo showcased techniques straight out of Street Fighter.
Paying no heed to the low attacks to
the
front leg there.
What Hiroshi does.
Yeah, he's got some great pop on the shots. He's kind of pushing Hiroshi around the ring here.
Yeah. He had that reach. Nice combos. Nice,
fast. It's really unusual, more control here.
Big money. He got some big money there. Wow.
Mizamachi barely survived the first round, but it seemed Anpo had a drift race to catch, so he ended it quickly, cutting the thread of Mizamachi's fate with a devastating scissor kick.
Big. Oh my God, man. He's a never man. He's talking to Peter Pan right now. Wow. Oh my goodness. My favorite kick ever.
Anpo emerged victorious, proving to the world that his limbs deserve to be classified as lethal weapons. In July of the same year, the next victim of the Japanese Jason Voorhees was a Chinese fighter named Deng Zeki. At first, their fight didn't spell disaster for Zeki, but within moments, Anpo decided to give him a free ride on his personal airlines. Thus, in the very first round, Anpo aimed to reduce China's population by 1. In the end, Anpo didn't just win. He painted a composition where Deng Zeki played the role of the victim. In September 2021, the heir to the art of the ninja seemed to grow tired of boosting his stats against fellow Asians, so he decided to make waves once more, this time against Brazilian fighter Alan Suarez. The fight began, but it seemed that before stepping into the ring, Anpo had ordered a sushi set, as he wasted no time dealing with the Brazilian. Living up to his nickname Demolition Man, Anpo put on a gravity-defying spectacle for Suarez.
Double kick! What in the heck? Whoa!
I might have missed that, Nick. Wow.
Oh, man.
In the end, Anpo delivered a spectacular victory, gifting the world yet another masterpiece of knockout artistry.
Sir, a short day from...
Now, let's travel back in time to September 2018. During his fight with Kenta Hayashi, Anpo proved that the dynamite in his arsenal isn't limited to his legs.
On a night where we've already seen lots of...
The bout began, and it felt like the descendants of samurai were dueling with katanas.
There's Luki on the ropes right now. Ooh, and landed stiff. Big punches. Gosh.
Oh, wow, what a move by Anpo to switch him right back up. That was a good.
Oof. Killer body shots there from Hayashi. Missing on the big left.
Whoa.
The sound of their strikes echoed like the swish of blades slicing through the air.
Some distance again. Just like that. Yeah, fast strikes. Luki with the big frames.
Oof. Wow.
Leapt right into that thing.
Oof. Hayashi aimed to wage a war, but it seems he didn't realize that Anpo doesn't wage wars, he executes.
Minute left in the round. Neither fighter given an inch. Neither one will back down. God, I see that.
A little snappy punch. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Early in the third round, Anpo's right hand found the reset button on Hayashi's jaw, sending him off to enjoy sweet dreams.
Shiba and incredible knockout there. It's not I go, you go. It's I go, I go, I go.
And Anpo brutally dispatched his opponent to the realm of Morpheus, proving to the world that his fists are just as lethal as his legs.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Just 3 months later, on the eve of the new year, Anpo faced Hideaki Yamazaki and decided to showcase all of his taijutsu skills.
Transpires in the ring today.
The fight began, and to everyone's surprise, Anpo didn't immediately assert his dominance in the ring. Instead, he became the prey in this hunt.
Ooh, there's that. Such a tall, explosive guy.
But by the second round, Anpo seemed to have undergone a rebirth, starting to demonstrate all sorts of knockout acrobatics.
Wow, a lot of strategy going on here between these two.
Tipped over his feet.
Real power, yeah.
Like an enraged ballerina, Anpo delivered his brutal kicks, making Yamazaki regret ever signing the fight contract.
Oh, and it lands. Ooh, the rope up. You got here. He landed that thing. The action.
Let's see what transpires.
Southpaw stance, that snapping left kick. Fighting down and fighting his way off.
Oh, nice move by
And in the final moments of the bout, Anpo decided to showcase the full grace of his kickboxing.
big.
Thus, the Japanese fighter delivered an express delivery of his high kick.
Wow.
Through the guard. Just so much concussive force.
In the end, Anpo whistled a knockout melody for yet another victim, once again leaving sports fans amazed with an incredible highlight.
An extremely powerful.
In July 2021, Anpo shared the stage with a fighter named Koki, turning the ring into a four-cornered chamber of torment.
Those 2 kilos for fighters like this make a huge difference.
The bell rang, and from the very first seconds of the fight, Koki sent Anpo to the canvas. But Anpo immediately repaid Koki in kind, tossing a coin of his own making.
Damn.
Somehow Koki managed to rise, but like a true samurai heir, Anpo finished his opponent, sparing him the agony of further suffering.
Hey! That's it. That's got to be it.
Like a true samurai, Anpo demonstrated that his mastery of the katana was far superior.
You guys terrifying. Like the power was different, the style was different. Oh, no! But super technical, man.
I think this fight is done. Oh, it's over. It's over.
The natural horn crusher!
Despite looking like a typical anime protagonist from the land of the rising sun, Takeru Sagawa can rightfully be called a modern-day samurai. Takeru Sagawa is the only fighter in K1 history to have won championship titles in 3 different weight categories. Dubbed the Born Crusher, he remained undefeated for 10 years. Takeru Sagawa was born in the summer of 1991 and was a restless troublemaker from childhood. After entering high school, he got expelled in just 3 months. But everything changed when he stumbled into a martial arts gym. Training helped him get back on the right path and fully dedicate his life to martial arts. In September 2011, Takeru made his debut in Crush, a subsidiary organization of K1. In his very first fight against Hirofumi Kamada, Sagawa sliced and diced him like a tempura roll. Takeru wasn't afraid to engage in brutal exchanges and had a rare talent for finding the off switch on his opponent's jaws. Sagawa's confidence quickly turned into arrogance. He didn't acknowledge his opponents and dove headfirst into rock'em sock'em fights. But in the summer of 2012, in the fight against Yuki Kiyotani, his overconfidence backfired. Takeru allowed himself to get careless, while his more composed opponent methodically hammered lessons of humility into the young Japanese fighter's head. However, Takeru, refusing to taste defeat, charged forward like a kamikaze pilot, only to crash and burn in an instant. Takeru got back on his feet, but under the pressure of his opponent, his nose burst like an overripe tomato, painting his face in crimson shades. The fight was stopped due to a broken nose. After such a devastating loss, Takeru learned his lesson and erased the word defeat from his vocabulary for the next 10 years. After working on his mistakes, Takeru Sagawa returned to the ring and began greedily racking up knockdowns. But things didn't always go according to Takeru's script. In his next fight, his opponent decided to rob him of the possibility of future offsprings. However, Sagawa recovered and sent Dr. Eggman to another dimension. Riding a series of 13 crushing victories, Takeru Sagawa set his sights on a championship title. In April 2015, after debuting in the main K1 organization, he got his chance. He was set to fight Taiga Kawabe, the holder of the Crush Super Bantamweight belt. From the very beginning of the fight, Takaru showcased his superiority and, in his usual style, began dismantling the champion floor in all levels.
そのお兄さんの戦いも一つなんですよね、タイガー。だからタイガーからしたら、いや全然余裕だよっていうのはあるんです。ただこう見てる方。
However, his opponent wasn't planning to be a stationary punching bag and fired back with a barrage of strikes.
わざとさ、何かタイガーまた、おお膝もいい、伸び伸びと空手をベースとしているのがタケルです。おお、奥から右だ、さらに左、はい、トリューさん、当たったタイガー。T ボム、タケルの T で T ボムというパンチがあるんですが、パンチワンツースリーフォー、左右のタイガー。
But this only amused Takaru, who decided to showcase his full mastery of taijutsu.
打ち合いに笑ってるじゃないですか。笑ってる。笑ってる。お前軽いぞってことなんです。倒してくると当たるんだよとタケル。倒してやるぞとタケル。
Apparently, after chugging some sake during the break, Takeru activated his Bankai mode and severed his opponent's lifeline.
58キロのチャンピオン。
Thus, Sagawa claimed his first championship belt and earned the nickname Born Crusher. After cannibalizing his way through a solid record against fellow countrymen, Takeru moved up in weight class and set his sights on international opposition. The Japanese fighter was set to face Russian Alexander Prilip, a man with fists heavier than a Siberian winter. The clash promised to reignite the Russo-Japanese War, this time in a ring. During the fight, Alexander diligently tested the durability of the Asian's skull, trying to turn off Takaru's lights prematurely. But by the end of the round, Takaru seemed to undergo a spiritual rebirth and reminded the Russian who the real champion was. To cap it off, the Japanese fighter decided to take Alexander on a scenic tour of the ring, dismantling his torso atom by atom and claiming another crushing victory. Next up for Takaru was French knockout artist Charles Bongiovanni, a man whose fists were as refined as French wine and as brutal as a Parisian taxi driver. Takaru started the fight cockily, taunting the Frenchman and recklessly exchanging blows. But the frog leg enthusiast wasn't one to be underestimated, and Charles was determined to prove it. After the break, Takaru refueled, repaid Charles in kind, and soon the Frenchman surrendered like a true Frenchman. In November 2016, Takaru was served a heaping plate of overconfident Chinese fighter named Yun Qi. When the fight began, Yun Qi stood as impenetrable as the Great Wall.
Definitely throwing some big shots, but not
a little bit here. And Chi-Yun, that's going to make Chi-Yun hesitate with those counter shots.
But Takeru found a way to bomb his opponent level by level.
Staying out of harm's way. Ooh, big high kick. This is you know, trading hands with.
Oh, stiff punches.
What happens? Oh, big right hand.
By the end, after turning Yun Qi into General Tso's chicken, Takeru reduced China's population by 1.
Yun's a tough dude. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to trade hands. I think people see like, oh yeah.
Huge win.
Yeah, big win.
With an impressive scalp collection, Takaru was ready to fight for a new title.
No, there really isn't. Look, everything's
yes, great call by the ref.
In June 2016, Sagawa faced Kaido Ozawa for the title in the featherweight championship. Two samurai clashed in the ring, their lethal limbs replacing katanas as they mercilessly sliced through each other's flesh and bone. Takeru, fueled by sheer will and possibly a vendetta against gravity, repeatedly sent Ozawa to wipe the canvas with his backside. Sacrificing his jaw and dignity, Takeru won by unanimous decision, claiming his second belt. Takeru continued defending his titles against new overseas invaders.
A lot of physicality. You can see the eyes there, man.
First, he avenged his ancestors' historical defeat by taking down American fighter Victor Saravia.
Tough dude, man. One tough effort. He was out standing up.
What a high...
Later, he thwarted a Russian fighter's attempt to occupy his championship belts.
Serious.
Oh, there you have it, folks.
And he's
Oh, there goes the body shots. Here we go.
Wow.
Riding a 28-fight winning streak, Takeru stepped into the ring for the lightweight title against Kosuke Komiyama, a top 10 global kickboxer. For 2 rounds, Takeru beat Komiyama so ruthlessly that the latter likely considered retiring to read manga and binge anime. Seeing his opponent's desire to flee, Takeru kindly expedited the process and finished the fight. With this win, Takeru became K1's first and only triple-weight champion, solidifying his status as a martial arts legend. After conquering K1 for a decade, Takeru cemented his reign as the undisputed king of 3 weight classes, a living embodiment of dominance.
I think this fight is done. Oh, it's over. It's over. It is. Wow. Wow.
But all good things must end. On June 19th, 2022, the match 2022 took place, a battle for the title of Japan's greatest kickboxer, featuring Takeru Sagawa versus Tenshin Nasukawa. For Takeru, this was his first true test. His opponent, a modern-day ninja who dismantled foes with techniques so deadly, most had to be scraped off the canvas afterward. In this clash of kickboxing titans, Nasukawa opened with a masterclass in jabs, flying knees, and floor-cleaning strikes. Takeru, tired of using his face as a blocking strategy, closed the distance, only to immediately eat canvas. Rising, still wobbling like a Tokyo subway rider, Sagawa charged forward like always. Tenshin had to slam the emergency brake on the knockout train with a right straight, then resumed the fight as a matador in this brutal corrida. Sticking to this strategy, Nasukawa edged a decisive victory. Losing to this final boss in front of 60,000 fans and 500,000 PPV viewers, Takeru didn't hang up his gloves. Instead, he vowed to fight on. Bigger battles awaited. After a year-long hiatus, Takeru headed to Paris to fight for the vacant ISKA and KGP K1 World Lightweight titles against the Brit, Bailey Sugden. Takeru immediately turned the ring into a 4-sided torture chamber for the Brit, crushing all hopes of escape. After toying with Sugden like a cat with a laser pointer, Takeru hurriedly knocked him out, probably to catch the last metro to the Eiffel Tower.
Voilà!
Just when it seemed the Born Crusher had no worthy foes left, he challenged one championship's reigning nightmare, Superlek Kiatmu, a human typhoon who'd even stopped the unstoppable Rodtang. Their clash in early 2024 started with Superlek declaring a low kick festival in Takaru's honor. The Thai then peppered the Japanese superstar with a never-ending buffet of front kicks, keeping him on a leash shorter than a Parisian poodle's. But Takaru eventually cornered the kick machine and threatened to tarnish his shiny record. Thankfully for Superlek, the Salvation Bell spared him from further vandalism. In the next round, Takaru tried to course correct, but Superlek, armed with ironclad stamina and fists harder than a Brexit negotiation, dragged the fight to the judges. Craving the one championship belt but tasting defeat instead, Takaru left the arena in a wheelchair, his leg resembling overcooked ramen. Fresh off recovery and a lifetime supply of ice packs, Takeru still dreamed of championship glory. In September 2024, he faced Myanmar's Thant Zin, a human tank with the subtlety of a sledgehammer.
Let's have a good, clean fight.
The young challenger marched forward like he owed rent on the ring, eventually dropping Takaru for a surprise meet and greet with the canvas. This strategy soon paid off, and he sent the Japanese to get acquainted with the flooring. Rodtang's wife in the audience couldn't hide her glee, but Rodtang himself sighed. He'd wanted to crush Takaru personally. In the second round, Thant Zin's aggression backfired. Takaru split his opponent's defense into atoms and sent him lip first to the ground. Now, all eyes are on the upcoming clash, Takaru versus Rodtang, a fight that promises to be legendary, or at least extremely loud.
Face me, it's not gonna be this easy! Ladies and gentlemen, that is what
Takaru Sagawa carved his name into K1 history as its greatest warrior, proving the samurai spirit is alive and kicking. Time marches on, new champions rise, but Takaru's legacy remains etched in the golden pages of kickboxing history.
I think this fight is done. Oh, it's over. It's over.
It is. He's got to see you running now.
Low kick, low kick, low kick. Chewin's a tough dude.
Yeah.
This has been Boxing.